Well, we won't know if that worked or not until we check the replay. We've got a new download for the intro video. It sounds really strong, but I don't know whether it came up. Hopefully it did. And we'll be cooking with gas. Anyway, it's the 4th of August, and it's a Monday here, Sunday night in Europe. And all is good, beautiful weather. It looks like Blinky Bill, John, turned up again. He's been out on an island. Been lots of wind, but it looks like they sailed back yesterday. I just saw on the tracker. So I'll catch up with them, maybe get an interview. I don't know whether Popeye's still here. They all buggered off. But anyway, if they are, we'll get an interview with both of them, maybe even today. So we'll get it online and see how we go. And yeah, all looking really comfortable and having fun. They're racing out there. Lots of things going on the course, so that's kind of cool. Trying to keep up with Facebook again. I was going to share some stuff. I saw Dan did a sunrise sunset post, and he'd go back to try and find him, and everything goes crazy. I don't know whether it's just me or whatever it is, but so I didn't get that up. But anyway, I'll sort that later. And yeah, all is good. So we've got a few people there now. G'day, messages. Looking forward to a new update. Good on you. And g'day, Rachel. Just joined, but it went straight to you as I logged in. Okay, all right, that's fine. So I think it's going to work. Might have been a problem with the download because it stays with the file for a long time. I haven't refreshed that file. So Jane just did another one and I put it up, and the audio is completely different. It's just booming out. So maybe that worked and give people a chance to get here before I get started. Anyway, let's go over, and I'll go slow in the beginning for the other people. It's Sunday night. I hope you had a big weekend in Europe. Jeepers, I saw Ada put a post up on the beach at Les Sables d'Olonne, and it looked very nice, typical summer scene. So the beach in Les Sables d'Olonne is one of those beaches where they have the best beaches in the world competition sort of thing with all these other beaches around the world. But it's pretty cool, always something going on. Anyway, let's go. So I got to press the right button. So you're now on the tracker and I'm now on the tracker. So you can see what's happened. First thing that hits you is Renault has gone straight up to try and get in front of Kerry. So we put the wind in there. And I think it's a case of the wind and the current, but let's just see. Boy, it's moving fast. It's changing really fast, the weather at the moment. So that sort of area of light, no winds that went through this sort of ridge here, or trough, I should say, waiting or preceding a little bit of a wind shift from the southwest. Might have had some overcast clouds and rain, maybe not. But anyway, Kerry held the line up the top, and yesterday, if we put the snail trail in here, you can see Renault came out, all of a sudden he just bolted. I think he just realised there might have been a bit more wind up the top, and there actually is. You can see there's a little bit more breeze. We showed that in the 2-day forecast yesterday. There's a little bit more breeze up the top than down the bottom. So there's getting a bit more breeze than Dan down the bottom. Kerry looks like he's Renault's in front of me. I'm going to go north again. He just altered course to go a little bit further north. So we'll see how that goes. And Christian down the bottom down here has started to come up, trying to get there. He's just about to get the breeze, doing 4.4 knots, and he did the magic 111 mile a day. So he's still moving quite okay. The wind was coming from the north for him, but it's about to swap over, so he'll have a little bit uncomfortable sea. Fascinated to see what's going on with the weather. When you see that northerly and then it goes southwest, it's usually clouds preceding that. So I'm just going to sneak peek. Oh, here it comes here. Yeah. So the clouds coming down in a very distinct line. And in fact, that's unusual. If it was further in the Southern Ocean, that cloud line would be further to the left or the northeast, because once it goes to the southwest, you can see the wind here. Below it's going to southwest. That's where you get clear blue sky. You can see it coming. And the northerly precedes with cloud and overcast and rain and stuff like that. And then you see in the distance, you start to see the blue sky. And so, the wind's going to shift. Get ready, guys, especially if you're going downwind with it, going to the east, so sailing towards the east. You get ready for the jibe. But here, interestingly, it's after the it's not an occlusion, I forget what you call it now. It angles back, and the moisture coming up here from the southwest, because a lot drier in the Pacific and stuff, is creating the cloud band there. So it's reversed. So some of the things that I say might be wrong. There you go. I'm still learning. We're all still learning right up until the last minute, but that's very distinct. There you can just see it. Quite a classic example. And there is a bit of rain up here, and certainly rain down the back, but that's very interesting, that one. Okay, back to the wind and back to the boys and girls out there. So Christian's doing okay, and Entrant, tail end at the main group up there, 2.9 knots, not much breeze, still 98 mile day. That's good. Gary, 2.7 knots, 90 mile day. So Entrant's coming up from behind. Jasmine be enjoying this, 2.6 knots at the moment, 95 mile day. So they've all just slowed down all of a sudden. They've still got a reasonable 24-hour run. But it looks like, because it's following light breezes here at the moment, and that's not fast, that are the spinnakers up with beautiful sailing, though. Beautiful dawn this morning, probably, because the clouds aren't there yet. Adam doing 3.2, 107 mile day. And then look, there's some changes here. Josh has lost out. He's had people coming up all over him. So Eric is now passing Josh, 118 mile day. Josh is 100 mile day. So Eric took out 18 miles on Josh. Wow, what's going on? He lost a bit of ground here. You can see that was a dead tack, that one, down the back, sailing away from the mark a bit. And Eric just came boring through, so that's where he would have lost ground there. So now he's got to try and keep up. But look at this. There's Eric right up alongside Jacob. Jacob's only got 102. So, Eric's done really well there. And then we'll have a look at the currents in a minute, because that's all interplaying on the whole thing. Peeler's heading down, but only doing 3.6 and only 100 mile day. So we've now got what I'd call a break on the lead group. We've got a mid group, and we've got Christian down the back there, down the bottom. I'd treat this now as this is the lead group, the three that we'd expect to see there. We had hoped that Peeler would be up there, but has she fallen behind us? In a lateral sense, in terms of the course, it's not that far behind Kerry. Anyway, she's doing okay, and Kerry, 4.4 knots, 134 mile day. That's not too bad. Dan is only 111 mile day, because he's had less wind. Kerry and Renault have had the breeze. Renault's picked it really well. Renault's currently doing 3.7, so there's not as much breeze there as it's showing. It's showing in a green patch, but it's hard to predict for sure. Did 120 mile day, so Kerry's the one that nailed it. Oh, hang on a sec. There you go. Kerry, this is really interesting, because Kerry's position report there is 3rd of August at 1600, 4 o'clock. He hasn't rolled over. And Renault is at 2000. That's how he got so far in front. So he's 4 hours behind that. And how fast would he be going? Let's assume he's doing... I need to pick this up so you can see it a bit better. Yeah, sorry about that. If you're looking on your phone, it's going to be a bit grim. You can see what's happened here is that was 4 hours previously. So he was doing 4.4 knots there. Renault currently doing 3.3. Let's say Kerry did 4 knots in the last 4 hours. 4, 4, 16. Jeez, I'm good at maths. Bloody hell. So 16 miles is around about there. Okay, so I would estimate that Kerry is about here, which puts him around about 22 miles behind. So he's sort of 4 or 5 hours behind Renault. We've got a yacht race on, boys and girls. Ooh, jeepers. They're spread out, but you can see what's going on. And if we... Okay, so we'll just say for now Kerry is only 22 miles behind Renault. Let's look at the next assumption here. We'll look at distance to the finish, which I thought was a fair enough take, but there was a funny anomaly going on here that I noticed last night. So Renault is 377 miles from the finish if you knock off the 8,000. So 377. And if we look at Dan, he's on 387. So he's only really 10 miles behind. Okay, if you can picture that. So 377, 387 for Renault. And if we come down here to Peeler, Peeler's down here. So 377 versus 460, near enough. So that's 17. So that's 83. So Peeler is 83 miles behind Renault, technically speaking. Okay, and that's all interesting stuff. Now, here's the fun bit. Jacob, 377 versus 477, near enough. He's 8,476.7. So he's 100 miles behind Renault. You're talking Jacob here, and Eric and Josh, not far behind. Only 100 miles, and we're past 7-8 days. So we're coming up to day 8. So you can say 10 miles a day. They're losing. They've lost out by about 10, 11, 12 miles a day. So everyone's still in the hunt. That's not too bad. That's the beauty of one design sailing. If the weather is an interplay here, because they're obviously getting more breeze for tactical reasons. They've been hunting the breeze, the leaders, whereas the mid group are now lucking out. So, but they're all still having fun. 100 miles behind. That's a day. So if the port was just around the corner, Renault would turn up, and the rest of the fleet would be arriving within 24, 36 hours of that. So it's fun racing for the 580s, and that's, as I say, the beauty of a one design fleet. So it keeps them all relatively close. Okay, we'll go back and we'll look at the weather for the next 2 days. Current, that was the thing, because I reckon Renault's reading everything. He just focuses on the weather. And I looked at this last night, and this current that Kerry was heading into, it's actually backed off a little bit now, but that was running it over a knot, right? And it's quite long now, okay? So we look at this current line for Kerry and Renault. That's going to hold pretty solidly for nearly 200 miles, so nearly 2 days, right? And in its purple, it's running at a knot. In the orange bits, it's running about 3/4 of a knot. So let's say a knot, that's 24 miles a day, right? And so even if you're not getting 24 and you're getting 18 miles a day for 2 days, that's 36 miles. And when I saw Renault doing the jump, I thought, oh, hang on a minute. He's seen the current and gone for it. And now everyone else, any of the other entrants that are watching this, sitting down here thinking, oh, why didn't we go up there? Don's actually picked the current, blah, blah, blah. So I've got a feeling it was two things that drew Renault north in a hurry. 3 things. First one, you want to be sitting in that current. Second one, there's probably a little bit more definable breeze up north. And third one, Renault pulls away from Dan, right? Because Dan was holding him, right? But now he's not going to get the same current advantage. He'll do okay, but you just say, okay, he's heading up there. He's going to roll over a bit, assuming these currents are right. Renault's likely to pick up, even I'll be super conservative and say he's probably going to pick up 20 miles with the current. It's only 10 miles a day. That's only half a knot. It's more than that. If Renault picked up 20 miles, Dan's only going to get 10 miles. So Renault's, compensated for this sailing slightly away from the course because it wasn't a 90-degree turn. It was reasonably oblique sort of thing. And so that was a good tactical move. The others, if they keep going this way, maybe that's why Peeler's going down. There's a head current there. You don't want to sit in that because that's even that current there. If it's correct, it's going to be on the nose. And if they were coming down there for 60 miles, it'll probably cost them 60 miles. And that's, say half to 3/4 of a knot on the nose. 12 hours, 6 miles. It's going to cost them 6, 7, 8 miles. They're going to lose about 6 or 7, 8 miles by going through that current there if they're not careful. You'd be better off coming up here and go through the middle. At least it's across the, pushing the boat north-south rather than, that's how you swim out of a current. If you get caught in the current, don't try and go against it or with it unless you know where you're going, but just cut across it. And anyway, that's all kind of fun to see. If we come down here to look at Mark, he just went straight through but got pushed out of it by the current, so that's okay. Christian hasn't got much advantage at all, so he's not going to get any push from the current anyway. Okay, back to the wind. Get rid of that, drop the wind in, and we'll progress it forward 2 days. Here we go. I think we can see what's going on there. If I remember rightly, it's going to be pretty much like trade winds now. And once that bit of a sou'wester that turns southeast comes through, you can see it's going to be quiet for everyone a bit, and then it's going to kick in. So another 12 hours, and they should be getting that nice trade wind stuff, and then they're all on a roll, except for Christian. Wow. Okay, so that's coming through the first 24 hours. Christian's got light stuff, and the other guys are getting 10 to 15s, and then 15 to 20. There's 15 to 20 there after a couple of days up the top. But these ones down here, if they're running the rum line, which is a line connecting 2 points on the chart, they're not going to get quite as much. It's a little bit softer here. But there's still enough to drive the boats at their 100, 120 mile days. It's just that these guys up here might get, the ones that are north may get a little bit better. I think Dan's in it. He doesn't need to go north now. He's they're all going to get it. So I'm just pushing through. There's the 7th. So I've got 3 days, 4 days. So the next 3 to 4 days after the initial light stuff is good sailing. Okay. So I think we're done there. No point in looking at the leaderboard, you can see, but I would call this the lead pack now. We've got 3 boats in the lead pack. We've got the middle group. No real stragglers behind because, well, no one's dragging desperately behind because all the boats are within, all the 580s are within 100 miles. So there's a mid group, the lead group, and then there's Christian. Dun, 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 dun. All right, that's cool. We'll get out of that now. Come back and say good day. Here we go. Why did Dan retire? Oh, hang on a sec. I'll get onto that in a minute. Okay, anything here to tell you about? I don't think so. Just that some people, I'll just stick this on. Some couple of people have asked about the Globe Yacht Club and the coin. What is it here? This is the Globe Yacht Club official gold coin. That's what it is. That's the Burgee of the Globe Yacht Club with the GGR, OGR, and MGR central square. Okay, and so that's the Burgee of the club. There are 3 main events. There's the globe there, and you can see along the bottom GGR per ardua means through difficulties. The Globe Yacht Club on the other side, unique human stories and adventure for all sailors. That's what we do. And this little sailor, the art of adventure, that's my favourite piece of prose. It's quite long, but anyway, that's one phrase. It says, keep your heart young, your expectations high, never allow your dreams to die. So that's the gold coin. And if you remember the Globe Yacht Club, that's what you get. And the racing pennant we use for the MGR and the 580 events is the same as that one you see there. You've seen it flying, and it has an orange centre, a complete orange centre for the mini globe race. Oops, we don't want that, we want that. Okay, so that's the only sideline here. Okay, all good. Aeronautic. Why did Dan retire? Dan sadly had a health issue, and he's had to go back to Canada for tests and bits and pieces. And the boat's right here in Vuda, and so we'll just wait and see what happens. He'll if you get onto his social media, if you like his site there on Facebook, even he'll update what's going on, and we'll see how it pans out. Kerry's watching. Sure was a pretty dawn. No mention of Renault, no mention of tactics, no mention of anything. It's all top secret. Anyway, good to hear from you, Kerry. And yeah, it's fun racing now. That's kind of cool. And the weather's good for racing as well. No excuses. So pull your finger out, get things up, and go for it. So that's cool. No doubt about Starlink. I was talking about someone else the other day about Starlink. You can change the game. Okay, g'day OAM. I've got to look at your profile. You are what? Anyway, does Little Wren still have top speed? From Leg 1, yes. No one's beat that. Average, not. Oh, yeah. Hang on a sec. there's two things to that. He had a 160-mile day, and I think the top speed he had was 16 knots at one point. I think it was. I should have written it down, but I think that's about right. So yes, I think that's correct. Bruce, fourth one, cover Kerry. Yep. So good thing to cover Kerry, just in case. And is Ulza. Morning. Look forward to the latest update. Yep, that's a good one. There's lots happening. Yes, Little Round holds the fastest 24-hour speed record. Well, that's a distance record. Average speed, I suppose, 160 nautical miles. Okay, Ray, just checked. It was 160.3. There you go. Now I remember. Smiley Dennis, did the sailors get jet boil fuel yet? Not that I, to be honest, I didn't hear anyone talking about lack of canisters in Fiji. And I know that there's some, in fact, I think there was some being sent. I suggested a long time ago that they should just send them by road up to Mitre 10 in Thursday Island. And someone checked, I think it was Eric, and that just reminded me of something. I got an update from Eric there, I'll get to read that. And I think they checked and they actually had them in Mitre 10 in Thursday Island, and those going to Darwin will get them as well. So I don't think it's a problem at the moment. No one's going hungry. This leg is proving interesting. There appears to be a few extra routes to try out and attempt the race advantage. Absolutely. Okay, I got an update here from Eric, and hang on a sec. Manager Brenda. Yes, he is. So update Saturday, Fiji to Australia, 7 days since start. Good tight race with Adam. At the moment, 3 miles apart last night, 120 nautical miles for the last 24 hours. Plenty of wind today, up around 20 knots at times. This was Saturday. All's well on the boat. Cheers, Eric. Update Sun Bear, day 8, end Fiji to Australia. It's a Sunday, yeah. Beautiful day on the water, light wind southeast, making good ground at the moment. All the best, Eric. So we're getting a few. We're lacking reports from many, but we did hear from Kerry there. Kerry said hello. So we'll see how we go. And hang on a sec. That was yesterday. We got one from, I didn't see it, from Josh. Josh says, rough seas today. Little boat is getting tossed all over. Making breakfast was like a core exercise routine. That's interesting. And we had one here from Josh on Saturday, but I think I read that out. Josh's message was last night. Jacob, but close enough to chat on the radio. Yeah, I said that. So, yeah, Josh had rough seas. That's interesting. Maybe it's some of the strange currents, because the currents we showed you is an estimation. It's not actually necessarily correct, but they can get anything out there, so that's all cool. Christian's just down there. Christian's shoulder's okay. He said the other day it was okay, but it's funny how you can get sucked into a situation that it just evolves. You're not right in the exactly right position. You think, I'll just go this way for a while, and then it's too radical to get back where you probably wanted to go with the rest of the fleet. So you make that decision, and then that decision leads to another one and another one. And you saw what happened to Gary out of Panama. Cost him dearly. Simple little issue, getting sucked into a position and then had decided to go over the north of the Galapagos. It cost him weeks. And Christian's, ended up down south, and it's not working out well at the moment. But I think at the end of the day, from about now or so, once that southeasterly kicks in, it's coming. It's a southwesterly now. It's going to kick to the south. And then it'll be underway. Why did the bird come in? All the seabirds have an incredibly strong sense of smell. Okay, and as soon as Dan would have chopped up that tuna to it, albatross, they can pick up scents. Simple little thing, one little squid or something, and they can smell that from like 5-6 miles away, 7 miles away. They have an incredible sense of smell that draws them to an area where there might be food. So that's how it works. Okay, that's me done. So thanks for that. And we'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to try this video again and see if it works. If you go to black screen, don't worry about it. See you tomorrow. Thanks for following, like and share, and all that sort of stuff, and we'll getting quite fun. So we'll see how it goes. See ya.